Remember how I said I was confused in the first episode of Mitsuhide? If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Well, this is where my confusion comes in. So, as I said in the first recording, I already played the first 2 battles with Mitsuhide before I even did that recording, so I already knew how I felt about Mitsuhide's story up to this point. So we have the Battle of Ise. Mitsuhide had joined Nobunaga because previous stage, even though it was a victory for our forces, they still lost. You know, they're going with the cannon movement and all that stuff. We're now going on to the Battle of Ise, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't get. It just says that he's going to go fight at this place, but I don't know who we're fighting and why we're fighting them. Obviously, getting into the battle, Magoichi's there, a bunch of peasants. Eco rebels? Are they rebels for like against the Oda, or are they just kind of there and they don't want to like submit to him? I'm not really sure about what's going on here in this stage, and especially the way it ends, because I'm like, what is happening? It's kind of playing into, because I know Mitsuhide is the one that kills Nobunaga eventually, like he assassinates him. But it's kind of playing into that, and I'm kind of seeing pieces of that, but I was very confused by the end. Anyway, starting off into the battle here, first of all, the map is amazing. This is the same one that Hanzo did for his Crossing Iga one, right? The only difference is that this one's actually full, action-packed with things, and I loved it. It was really, really fun. Constantly kept me doing things, and this is going to do really well on the strategy portion for the Musou meter. So be on the lookout for that towards the end of the video. But jumping in here, the first things we have to do, I'm just kind of cutting through. Again, I'm getting used to Mitsuhide by this point. The first episode, he was kind of slow, and I wasn't meshing well and wasn't really feeling that great with him. He wasn't feeling super smooth. In this one, I felt much better with him. I don't know what it was. I got a better weapon, but it wasn't like an upgraded weapon. It was the same base level 14, same combos, nothing upgraded or anything like that. He just felt a little bit better in this one, a little bit more comfortable. So he's going to do a little bit better on the power rating. So the first thing we do is move down to try and take down one of these pilgrim people.
Happy Thanksgiving, pilgrims!
The peasants, I guess, in order to have the cannons fire off. So that's the first thing we're doing here. We're on the western side, destroying that, and then the cannons get like clogged up. They're not able to fire right away. So we end up going down to the southern side where there's another group of pilgrims. So we attack them, and we have to protect the cannon unit at the same time. So we go there, we kill them, and then while all this is happening, we get another mission that Nobunaga sends Hideyoshi on to set the center of the map on fire, which is crazy to think about. So these rebel people, which I'm assuming aren't that gifted in like martial arts, like if they're peasants, they're probably like basic level swing your sword kind of people and hopefully kill something. So they got the cannons and they have these fire attacks going on. I feel bad for these people. Like, you're getting blasted with cannons, and then if you somehow dodge the cannon fire, you got a blazing fire approaching you. So like, damn, Nobunaga can be vicious in this game. By the way, who's more vicious, Nobunaga or Cao Cao? Random tangent. I'm gonna put them together for sure. Nobunaga versus Cao Cao is definitely a who would win episode coming up at some point. Anyway, I secure like the western side of the cannon people, so that way they're fine. Like, they'll be okay and they can do what they gotta do. And as I'm making my way up towards the task force, the cannons eventually end up firing, which is great. You know, we end up killing some peasant people. And we end up meeting up with the task force, who ends up being Hideyoshi, so he's the one. I guess that makes sense. I thought it was, when he said task force, it was just a guy named task force or task leader or whatever. But it's Hideyoshi. We got to be near him so he can continue to move on. I thought it'd be like one of those other kind of escort missions where the AI stops at every enemy they go on to, which that's why I started clearing out some of the enemies, being prepared for the annoyance that I had to deal with. But no, I cleared out a couple of them, and then Hideyoshi just kept moving as long as I was near him. And then eventually he's going to reach his target here and set the place on fire. We get a nice little cutscene for it. Nobunaga has he's a pretty deadly character. Like, do we like Nobunaga? Like, I like Nobunaga. I think he's a cool character, but some of these like things that he says, it's pretty heartless. I'm trying to understand why that is. You know, is it for the greater good? Is it for his own? He doesn't seem like a tyrannical person. He doesn't seem like a Dong Zhuo. Doesn't seem like a, women, wine, and wealth kind of person. But he seems like a destroy the world, burn it down to ashes so we can build it up from the ground. Is that kind of his philosophy? That's kind of what I'm getting from him. Burn everything, destroy everything, and then rebuild from the ground up, which is fine. Some people are like that. Anyway, so that happens. Magoichi, I find out, is part of the stage. I didn't know that until he started speaking. And then him and some other guy is going to is heading up to Nobunaga to surrender, and I'm given the task to prevent them from surrendering. I believe, and I could be wrong, I think if they make it to that, doesn't he like try to shoot Nobunaga? Like, he tries to shoot him, right? Or am I thinking of a different game where he assassinates him? Magoichi assassinates Nobunaga in some of the games too, right? I might be mixing some things here. Anyway, we have a little foot race to the main camp here. I barely get them right before they enter the camp. So I'm fighting Magoichi and Shoke. Is that a real guy? Or is that like an overarching name like Pilgrim? Anyway, Shoke and Magoichi, we're fighting them here. They're pretty tough. They got the mist upgrade thing. They're doing some damage to me. They get me down pretty well, but I eventually take them down and we end up clearing everything out. And then the confusing part here. So we have this weird retreat, but not retreat going on. The main guy leaves, the pilgrims start to burst out as well. And then the guy, like the last named guy, cuts off the escape route. So I'm like, okay. And then we get a mission for securing the escape route. So I'm like, are we on the peasants team now? But they're still red. They're still red. Like we can still kill them if we wanted to. But the mission is to defeat the officer, open the escape route, and then have the peasants escape? Like escort them out? I was very confused, I tell you that. So we end up taking down the guy. We take on Mr. Hattori. Wait, is that Hanzo's friend? Brother? Hanzo Hattori? Tomosada Hattori? Anyway, that's not the point. We take him down and then we end up escorting these peasants to the escape point. I'm not sure what was going on here. So obviously I stop attacking them and then I'm just kind of escorting these people around, these pilgrims. So I get them to the escape route and I get both of them there and then that's the end of the stage. Mitsuhide at the end says something that again hints at the fact that he disagrees with how Nobunaga does things, and maybe that's what led him to assassinating him, because of the harshness, I guess, that Nobunaga portrays versus Mitsuhide's benevolent side, you know? I could see Mitsuhide getting along with like Shu characters or the Shu Kingdom if he's more of a benevolent person, but he does seem to have a ruthless side. I mean, in the first stage, he was all about showing his power, ripping through people, so definitely an interesting character. Let's go on to the Musou meter. Let's start with the personality, because it's interesting to see this. This is character on the second stage, unlike Hanzo, right? Hanzo was a one-note character. He did not change at all. He was death, assassin, get the job done. All 5 stages. For Mitsuhide here, on his second stage, we're already seeing an arc. Like, we're already seeing a development in his personality. He starts out power hungry-ish, like just showing his power, and then now he's showing this benevolent side. He's showing this questioning side. He's showing this something that is leading up to. He's got this almost cliffhanger in a way that I'm interested to see what scene 3, like stage 3, is going to be like. What is that going to do? Is he already going to assassinate him? Is it not the last stage? What's it going to look like here? I'm actually kind of excited to see how this develops. So for personality, I'm going to give him a 4-star. I think he's already starting to develop a arc in his personality, which is great. I love it. I think it's amazing to look at. In terms of power, again, I felt better with him, smoother, still have the basic on him. I'm going to give him a 3. I think he's quite average on this one. Actually, I'll give him a 3.5. I felt okay with him. Like, I felt pretty good with him. I felt like he was much smoother in this one, even when I was struggling against Magoichi and Shoke. 2v1 situation. I was getting beat pretty bad, but I didn't feel that threatened. I felt pretty comfortable using Mitsuhide's moveset in that situation. In terms of strategy, I got it. This is one, I mean, absolutely 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 strategy. The map was great. This was a great feel for the map. It wasn't a simple escort mission. We had tons of things going on, tons of things to choose. And there's things that we could have not done. I could have let them enter the camp. What would that have done? I could have killed the pilgrims. What would that have done, right? What would have been different? Obviously, I think different lines, maybe some cutscenes, things to play with there. I love the strategy and the map for this one. And it seems like you can really dictate what happens in the map depending on what you do. So definitely giving it a 5 stars. And then in terms of the drama, there wasn't a lot of cutscenes with the drama for this one, but that's okay. I think even without a plethora of cutscenes, the drama for this stage was actually pretty high. I think it did really, really well. We have the fire attack in the middle. We have the cannon things. We have the difference of, you know, the emergence of his personality, Nobunaga being ruthless in himself. You know, we have a lot of interesting points here, and I think the drama was heightened pretty well for this stage. I'm honestly going to give it a 4.5. I'm going to give it a 4.5 just because there wasn't any other cutscene to bump it up to that 5, you know, no Nobunaga or Mitsuhide reaction. I think maybe if Magoichi enters a camp, there might be a cutscene, so if that's the case, definitely would give it a 5 in that point. But from what I played, from the path that I chosen for this map, I would give it a 4.5. I think a 4.5 is great for the drama. Lots going on in this map in particular, and that's going to be pretty much it for Mitsuhide here on his second stage. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for episode 3. I want to see how this develops. I know where it's going. I know what the destination is, but I'm excited for the journey here. Isn't that what they say you're supposed to do, right? Enjoy the journey, not the destination. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and this was just my, again, it's kind of like a deep dive reaction. I'm kind of reacting to what's going on here, feeling it out, watching the characters develop. How do I like them? Who do they remind me of? Honestly, Mitsuhide honestly reminds me of Jungwei. Like, him and Jungwei seem to have similar paths. Now, I'm not saying, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say he's as war hungry as Jungwei, but Jungwei started on South Side, didn't like it, got cut off, and then, you know, join shoot. It's not the same thing, but it is similar that Mitsuhide is starting to change based on the philosophy of the person that he serves. He doesn't like it. He doesn't agree with it. We're seeing that start to develop, and I think him and Jung Wei might be a good contender. We'll see. I'm going to keep exploring Mitsuhide. We'll see what happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below if I'm missing anything about the character, any crucial details, things like that. Love to learn. So that way, when it's time to pit them against our favorite Dynasty Warriors characters, I'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all, and I will see you all in the next one.